You ever felt like life keeps throwing you into different eras of your life, eras that you're not quite ready to take on or tackle, or maybe multiple eras at the same time that is stressing you out? That was my life for the last 5 to 7 years of my life. I was going through era after era, and I have mastered what God was trying to sit me down and understand. And when I got this understanding, this is when motion started to happen in an intentional way. And I want to share with you 4 eras of my life that I've currently gone through, what those eras meant, and how those eras can show up for you in your life today, and what you should look for when they present itself to you. Nobody is better than you. They may be luckier than you because they may have a little bit more knowledge that you don't have. But that can change today. It could change tomorrow. Let's get started. Era number 1 for me is what I like to call the awakening era. This is when you've gone through some things and you're not quite understanding what's happening in your life, but you are not realizing quite yet that you're in an awakening. I was clinically depressed my entire childhood on up until the age of 27 years old. And I was still fighting it around age 27, but not as bad. I was so deep into my depression. I was so deep into an era of pain and suffering mentally. And there was no root cause of it that I knew about at the time, right? If you've ever been depressed or if you've ever dealt with someone who has been clinically depressed, sometimes you can wake up for the day and you have no idea why you feel the way that you feel. It feels like a dark cloud is following you around, just hanging over your head, and no matter what you do and how you do it, it will not leave you alone. That's how it feels to be depressed. Sometimes you're not eating, sometimes you're overeating, sometimes you can't get off the bed and do anything. It's like you're in mental bondage. Your mind won't work, your body won't work. Sometimes your mind is overworking and your body can't work at all. And it's just not a very pleasant place to be in. And that was majority of my adult life. I remember the first time that I was actually depressed was around age 13. And that's actually the time that I was diagnosed with chronic hypertension. I've been chronic hypertension since the age of 13 with no explainable diagnosis. So it all happened for me around the same age. So I woke up one day out of the blue. I was 27 years old and I decided I don't like the way that this makes me feel. I hate waking up dealing with this every day. I don't like crying. I don't like feeling sad. I don't like feeling depleted. I don't like feeling like I have nothing to live for in my life. I don't like feeling like there is no joy around me. I don't like this feeling. And because that I know that I feel this way, but I don't like this feeling, what can I do about it? As I am now older and wiser, I realize that the longer you stay in that mental bondage, the harder it will become for you to get out of it. The longer you stay in that particular state of mind, the sicker you're becoming. And it's going to be harder and longer for you to get out of that state of mind if you don't start to practice some sort of mental stability or mind control. You will not be able to get better, feel better, or be aligned with better if you don't first want it for yourself. When you don't know what you can do, but there is something in you that is seeking for how to do it, you are in an awakening period of your life. And that was my thing. I wanted it for myself so bad that from that day when I woke up that morning, I made every single thing in my life so dedicated to me getting up and figuring out how to feel better. Now, because I was still dealing with life at the beginning of my awakening era, I feel like that was the longest period of me realizing what to do, because I was still trying to navigate breaking myself out of the depression, but also dealing with life, school and work and family and all the things. Also, knowing in the back of my mind that I wanted better for myself. And when I wanted better for myself, I only focused on one thing, right? Because sometimes we're focusing on multiple different aspects that we want to enhance. We want to make more money. We want a better home. We want a new car. We want new wardrobe. We want to find a partner or a spouse. And we want to do all these things that enhance and elevate us. And so we start to think about them all at one time. And I knew that if I did that, I will fall fall back into a depression, because now it feels like it's too much to bear. It feels like it's too much on me, and I need to take a step back a little bit and reassess what is more important to me. Is it more important that I focus on this one thing that I really want so that I can have a better quality of life overall, or is it important to me to focus on everything and build in tandem? When we're looking at every single puzzle piece that we have to deal with on the board, we do not tend to be successful at getting things done. You should focus on the current problem that is preventing you from doing every other problem successfully. And for me and for you, that is your mind first, because our mind is the control board, it's the switchboard. It is the central processing unit, like a CPU of a computer. It is the thing that make everything work. And when it has a virus like depression, it does not function quite well. It's limited in its ability to get things done and to produce results. So I decided I was going to make every situation in my life at that time about making sure that my mind felt good, that my mind was whole. And I'm not even going to act like it was an easy process. It was very hard for me because I am in this process of learning how to take my control back. Here is the thing. When we feed our mind so much over a long period of time, it has now been conditioned to believe the things that you fed it over that long period of time. It will respond the way that you are used to responding automatically. It will think the way that you're used to thinking automatically. It will start to self-sabotage you if you do not start to become aware of what's happening. And so I was fighting that in this period. I was fighting my mind, constantly trying to default. The unlearning period took so long. Remember, I had been clinically depressed since age 13, and now we're at age 27. And it has been quite a while that I've been teaching my mind how to do business this way, how to live my life this way. And so we spent a great deal of time just trying to practice being in a state of awareness for when I realized that I was not making great decisions mentally. When I realized that I was overreacting, when I realized that I was overthinking, when I realized that I was allowing my thoughts to become negative, when I realized that I was responding in a sporadic and very negative way. I had to become aware of these things. In that process, I began to pray different. I began to ask God to help me to be able to see me in my ugliness, in my prettiness. Let me see me. Help me to be able to recall in my mind's eye when I am not behaving the way that I am desiring to. And that is what happened for me. I began to realize, okay, I said that, but that wasn't quite nice. Or I did that, but that didn't support where I wanted to be. Let me go and counteract that by just doing the thing that I know is right, by just saying the thing that I know is right, by just stopping the thoughts that I know are wrong. My awakening era sent me into another era that I didn't know that I had entered. So now I am in era number 2, which is therapy era. Some of that was coupled into professional therapy as well. The key point here in era number 2 is that you need to allow your pain to push you into healing. And this is where you're wanting to get down to the bottom of it. This is where you're seeking for the root cause and the triggers of everything that has caused you pain. And we're not looking to blame anybody, and we're not looking to push our responsibility off on the next person. Even if that person has caused you a great deal of trauma in your life, it doesn't matter at this point. We're looking to move forward, and we're trying to figure out how can we do this in the best possible way by taking accountability over self and taking our power back from the people, places, and things that has caused us a great deal of pain. This is what this is all about. Once you have a realization of the thing that does not feel good to you, no matter what that thing is, it is now time for you to do something about it. It takes for you to have immense self-discipline with this responsibility. This is going to be your period of unlearning. And in order for you to unlearn so that you can relearn what you need to in order for you to produce the way that you desire to, you're going to have to purge. You're going to have to get rid of some of the things that were rooted deep inside of you that does not support the person that you are designing yourself to be. It is not aligned with the things that you're asking God to do for you in your life. life, and it has no bearings or no benefit for where you're trying to go, your end result. So those things have to come out of you. You can't try to go straight to the goal without tackling those things first, because one or two things is going to happen. One, you're either going to take some of that baggage into your new journey and then sabotage it at some point along the way, or two, you're never going to make it there because the baggage that you're carrying is going to shortstop you on that journey. When you are met with the people, the things, and the opportunities that you need in order for you to accomplish that goal, sometimes you won't quite be ready to seize the opportunities or the benefits because you're not in the right place, and you'll pass it up entirely because you were never practicing awareness to begin with. So in this era of self-therapy, this is where you're being very real with yourself. You're breaking down the boundaries. You're getting rid of the egos. You are being very stripped down, honest, raw, and real with yourself. You're saying to yourself, what is it that I want? What needs to happen? How am I today? What is my ugliness? What do I not like about myself? What doesn't feel good to me? How can I fix these things? Where do they come from? Where was the start of it? What was my earliest experience with going through these processes? This is when we're getting very raw and real and purging out from the bottom up. And sometimes you can do this alone if you have the discipline. I did it alone for a very long time because I had the discipline. I was reading, I was fasting, I was praying, I was seeking for the answers. I was in a constant state of awareness. And so my mind, my body, and my spirit was in alignment. I was distancing myself from things, people, and places that wasn't feeding what I was trying to do. And so it helped me to be able to do a little bit of self-therapy, self-healing, and self-actualization, responsibility and accountability over self first, so that I can begin to trust who I am, rebuild who I am from the inside out, and not pay attention to anything that doesn't align with that. Once I had that under control, I then reached out for a little bit more professional help to polish it all together. Now, if you need to reverse the order of this, do what works for you. That's what worked for me. But in your self-therapy era, this is where you're going to build trust with yourself. This is where you and God gets a little bit stronger together. This is where you're walking in spirit and faith. This is where you are breaking down all of the walls that has been put up in your life. This is happening in era 2. Let's move to era 3. Era number 3 is restructuring. And I think restructuring has been my favorite era yet, because it's been a lot of clarity behind the restructuring. And in this case, when you're putting the pieces of the puzzle back together again, you're doing them on your own accord, by your own lessons, the things that you have relearned. You are doing them with your own strength. You're doing them with your own trust, discipline, accountability, everything in this era of your life. No one else has an input here. This is your restructuring and alignment era. In this era, you've become spiritually developed. You become so aligned with your spirit that you feel bad when you do things that are not aligned with where it is that you are spiritually. This is where you're starting to realize that sometimes you may want to revert to your bad habits, but when you don't feel good about it. So now you realize that you're in a constant state of awareness with self. You're in sync with self. You're practicing new habits as much as you possibly can. You're restructuring your life altogether. This is also the time period where you're not really worried about who is falling by the wayside, how many friendships are being lost, how many connections are being lost, because you realize that in order for you to reach your highest peak, that these things, people, and experiences, they have to shed from you. They can no longer have attachment to you because you do not align with that frequency anymore. Where you're trying to go and where they are, it doesn't connect. So you have to relinquish those things. But this era of your life, you're not afraid to do that. And it doesn't impact you as much as it would have impacted you if you was in era number 1. Now, this era happened for me around age 33. And age 33 is when I was finally cancer free. I got a surgery done where I removed all of the cells from my body. And this was my cancer free era. And this is where I was starting to go through my high spiritual awakening era. Because if I'm being honest, the beginning of this era started for me in the previous era. And era number 2 is when I start to really get a sense of spiritual awakening. But it opened up for me grandly in era number 3, when I started to dive deep into alignment, being in my total alignment, not doing things that were not a part of my assignment, is when era number 3 really took off for me. This is where you are going to discover who you truly are, and you're going to be unapologetic about it, everything in your life is going to flow for you with ease. It's going to start to turn around for you if you give it time and patience. And if you follow I know I talk about my favorite words all the time. If you follow my power words by era number 3, you will have a divine life. And my power words are preparation, mindset, discipline, commitment, focus. Focus is not on there, but I just threw that in there because I just feel so granular. It was flowing naturally. Okay. Gratitude and action and execution. If you have those words be a part of your day-to-day agenda, it is very impossible for era number 3 not to push you into your start of your highest and best version of who you are becoming. And trust me when I tell you, every single time I made a decision, I had to go down my power word list. I had to ask myself, does this align with every word on this list? Because if it doesn't, I can't do it. Every day, at the start of the day, this is where you check in. What am I doing today? Who am I talking to today? Where am I visiting today? What experiences am I partaking in today? Does any of that align with the words that is on this list? If it doesn't align with the words that's on this list, I cannot do it, because this is how we're taking that discipline and that commitment to our journey. This is how we're taking the responsibility and accountability for where we are in our life versus where we want to be. And this is the preparation, the work that needs to be done to align with the plan that you have prayed for, that God has set in motion for you. So you have to stay in alignment. And if it doesn't align with where it is that you want to be, you can't do it. And this is probably why era number 3 was my favorite era of all, because this is the era that sets the tone. It sets everything in motion. This is when your energy is changing. You're starting to attract better people, better experiences. The money is coming up and into you, and you are starting to be aligned with what it is that brings you fulfillment. And because you align with what brings you fulfillment, you're happier in your life, and you're doing the work that makes you feel happy. Everything is a part of your divine alignment. And this is where you should really buckle down the most, because era number 3 will make you feel like I got it going on and this is all working for me and I don't need to do anything else. No, the era doesn't stop there. You still have grand work to do. And this is what I like to say, when you feel good the most, that's when you should call on God the most, because this is the era where we tend to forget. You're still in a state of suffering. You just don't feel it anymore because you still haven't transcended all the way to where you want it to be yet. So you're still on a work in progress, like you're still on a working journey. And you have to remember to dial back into spirit on a regular basis. I always say, God, please don't let me forget about you. Even when I feel good, remind me that this is when I need you the most. And God does. My mind all day long is speaking to me. You need to talk to God. You need to connect with God. You need to check in with God, because I prayed for that moment. I prayed and I asked that God will not allow me to forget, even in the spaces when I'm feeling well. And now we're in my current era of my life. And this is what I call era number 4. And this is what I like to call my refinement era. And my refinement era is where I am now, age 35. And refinement means that nothing is wrong and everything is on autopilot, and I am existing in my alignment, and everything is working out for me just as I desire it to, and just as it is according to God's plan. But now I want to refine it. I want to figure out, how can I become 1% better every single day? 1% better as a mother, 1% better as a friend, 1% better as a coach in my businesses or an entrepreneur, 1% better with my relationship with God. How can I take everything that I'm already doing and amplify it? And in this season, this is teaching me to become a high achiever. It is teaching me to become a high performer, and it is teaching me to be in a space where I am really seeing myself in my highest and best version. And that takes pushing you beyond your limits, not getting comfortable, because once you come out of era 3 and you're feeling good, this is the space where you will get very comfortable. And for some, you may be happy there. Now, I didn't get to this point without using some sort of resources. And along the way, God helped me to be able to understand exactly what my resources were. And then from that, I developed my own resource, in which helped me to be able to get from where I was to where I desired to be. And I still use it every day of my life. I create created the life inventory chart, and I created this a long time ago, and I still use it today because each era I'm looking to be a better version of myself. In era number 1, when I was trying to get from where I was to where I was trying to be, that version of myself looked totally different from where I am now to where I am trying to be. And this is where I did an exercise, or I created an exercise, and it's just involving a T-chart. On one side of the chart is where you would list out everything that is of your attributes today. These are the people that you are attached to, the places that you're frequently going, experiences that you are constantly having. These are your attitudes and your emotions that you're constantly feeling. For each thing that you list on that chart, you are to attach how it makes you feel. If there's a negative emotion attached to it, it cannot go on the other side of the chart. So you are listing out in real time in front of your face who you are versus who you want to be, in order for you to see the evidence that is going to push you into the person that you need to become. And this is the thing that helped me to be able to get to my highest performing version of myself today. And you can use it for you. It's absolutely free. In the comments, just comment life inventory chart, and I'll link it in the description box below if you want to use it. One key thing that I want you to remember in this entire process is time. Forget about it. Time doesn't exist. Time will be the indicator that ruins your entire journey. You do not need to worry about time. Time is going to ruin this entire equation. If you start attaching timelines to things, or you start saying, I'm gonna do this by this month, or I'm gonna do this by that month, and you say, okay, Nicole, if I can't attach a timeline to things, then how am I constantly on my milestones? And how do I know what I'm going to do? You can track your milestones when you hit them. And you can look back and say, oh, that took me X amount of months, or X amount of days, or X amount of weeks to accomplish. And so because it took me that long to accomplish, next time I know that I could probably do it faster if I implement that, or if I cut out this, whatever. You can look back over time. Don't make time be a thing that you obsess over in this journey, because if you do, and you do not meet the deadline in the specific time frame in which you want to accomplish the thing, it's going to start to discourage you. You're going to feel frustrated, and that frustration is not aligned with the assignment that we're trying to accomplish. So if you're in a place in your life and you don't feel good to you and you feel stuck, I just want you to remember that you're not stuck. You're just in an era. And based on this video, pick and choose which era that is for you, or make up your own era list. That's what I just did, and I just gave it to you. All right. I just made it up based on what it is that I went through. And I say, you know what? I realize my life is a sum of eras that I am experiencing. And if I look at it this way, then nothing is permanent. It's all temporary. It all goes away at some point, and light does shine at the end of the tunnel. But you have to understand that you're just in a season, an era. And if you address it like that, and you look at it like that, then you can understand, okay, what is my lesson here? What am I supposed to be doing in this era? What am I supposed to be achieving in this era? What am I supposed to be learning in this era? What am I supposed to be giving in this era? Because that will help you to be able to propel into the next one with ease. If you need a little bit of help and you want to be coached through this process, comment coaching if you need coaching. And I coach women through these processes all the time, and I can help coach you through yours as well. Until next time, guys, like, subscribe, share it with a friend who needs to hear it. I'm Nicole Swanson. Come back and see me. Bye.